Have you ever settled into bed, perhaps listening to the gentle cadence of a loved one's voice, or a soft, calming audio, and felt that profound sense of peace as consciousness slowly drifts away? Have you ever truly wondered why bedtime stories, in myriad forms, have been such a universal human practice, told and retold across countless generations and civilizations for centuries? Beyond their simple charm, what enduring power do these tales possess? Join us as we delve deep into the whispering, ancient history of the world's oldest sleep stories, meticulously uncovering the profound cultural significance, the intricate narrative structures, and the timeless, enduring power of these ancient narratives, meticulously crafted not just to entertain, but specifically designed to lull listeners into the deepest, most peaceful slumber. The subtle, persistent whispers of history linger not just in ancient ruins or dusty scrolls, but profoundly within the very fabric of the world's oldest sleep stories. These ancient tales, passed down through oral traditions and eventually etched into early texts, were precisely designed with a singular, soothing purpose: to gently guide listeners into the tranquil embrace of peaceful slumber. Yet they hold far more than just sedative qualities. They conceal secrets that transcend the linear progression of time, weaving profound lessons, cultural values, and a sense of cosmic order into their narratives. Join us as we courageously explore their deep cultural significance and unravel their enduring, almost magical power that continues to resonate today, reminding us of humanity's shared need for comfort, connection, and the gentle release into rest. As a child, nestled snugly in my bed, the world outside hushed by the deepening twilight, I was always utterly fascinated by the stories my grandmother would tell me. Her voice, soft and rhythmic, would paint vivid pictures of far-off lands, brave heroes, and wise animals, transforming my bedroom into a realm of pure imagination. Little did I know then that these cherished moments were not merely simple bedtime rituals, but part of an incredibly long, unbroken tradition, a lineage stretching back through millennia of ancient tales, precisely designed to gently lull listeners into peaceful slumber. That early personal connection sparked a lifelong curiosity. Join us now as we embark on a journey to unravel the whispered history of the world's oldest sleep stories, tracing their origins, exploring their diverse forms, and discovering the profound secrets they hold about human nature, the need for narrative, and the universal quest for tranquility at the close of day. Our profound exploration into the soothing embrace of narrative rest begins by acknowledging a fundamental truth. The telling of sleep stories is not a modern invention, but a truly universal human practice, deeply ingrained in the very fabric of our shared history. Picture any ancient campfire, any dimly lit hut, any simple family dwelling across cultures and continents. You will inevitably find someone speaking softly, weaving a tale to ease another into slumber. We introduce the concept of sleep stories as a universal human practice, a fundamental component of human experience. From the nomadic hunter-gatherers sharing myths under a star-strewn sky to the court poets reciting epics in ancient palaces, the act of speaking or listening to a story at bedtime has been a ubiquitous, comforting ritual, transcending language barriers and geographical boundaries. This practice speaks to a primal human need for comfort, security, and the gentle disengagement from the anxieties of the waking world, preparing the mind for its nightly journey into dreams. These narratives boast ancient origins, dating back to pre-literate societies, long before the invention of written language. In these oral cultures, storytelling was not merely entertainment. It was the primary vehicle for transmitting knowledge, preserving history, and passing down moral codes. As dusk settled and the active day concluded, the communal telling of tales served as both a social binding ritual and a pedagogical tool. Children and adults alike gathered, listening to myths, legends, folktales, and heroic sagas. Crucially, as the evening wore on and sleep approached, the nature of these stories would subtly shift. They became less about action and more about rhythm, less about conflict and more about resolution. Their narratives designed to gently guide the listener towards a state of rest. These were the lullabies of an era without books, the whispered lessons in the quietude of the night, holding collective memories. This leads us to emphasize precisely how sleep stories were used to calm anxieties, teach life lessons, and preserve cultural traditions in a world often fraught with the anxieties of survival, fear of predators, hunger, or natural disasters. Sleep stories offered a psychological balm. Their predictable narrative arcs, familiar characters, and often harmonious endings provided a sense of order and safety, reassuring listeners that all would be well. Beyond mere comfort, these tales were powerful pedagogical instruments. Embedded within their plots were life lessons, the consequences of greed, the rewards of courage, the importance of community. Children learned right from wrong, gained wisdom about the world, and understood their place within their society's moral framework. Furthermore, sleep stories served as vital conduits for cultural preservation. Through their repetition, generations memorized ancestral myths, tribal histories, and spiritual beliefs, ensuring the continuity of cultural identity across time. They were the living libraries of an era, whispered from elder to child, safeguarding a collective heritage through the peaceful act of slumber. To fully appreciate the profound impact of ancient sleep stories, we must first delve into the evolution of oral storytelling and its monumental importance in transmitting knowledge and values across generations. In pre-literate societies, before the widespread adoption of writing, the human voice was the primary, often sole, medium for the preservation and dissemination of information. Elders and designated storytellers held revered positions within their communities, acting as living encyclopedias, repositories of tribal memory, and custodians of cultural identity. Through epic poems, intricate myths, ancestral sagas, and allegorical tales, they transmitted crucial knowledge: how to hunt, where to find water, the migratory patterns of animals, the medicinal properties of plants, and the complex social customs governing community life. This oral tradition fostered an acute reliance on memory, both for the storyteller and the listener, strengthening cognitive abilities across generations. The very act of listening, without the aid of written text, honed attentiveness and the ability to absorb and recall complex narratives. Beyond mere information, storytelling was the bedrock upon which shared values, moral codes, and spiritual beliefs were transmitted, ensuring the continuity of cultural identity and social cohesion. In the quiet sanctity of the night, when the dangers of the day receded and families gathered closely, sleep stories profoundly provided comfort and connection within communities. The act of listening to a familiar, rhythmic voice weaving a tale before sleep was inherently soothing. It created a powerful sense of security, especially for children who felt safe within the embrace of the narrative and the presence of their loved ones. This communal experience fostered deep bonds, strengthening familial and tribal ties. Sharing stories in the liminal space between wakefulness and sleep created a shared emotional landscape, a collective journey into imagination and tranquility. For adults, these tales could be a form of gentle escape from the day's anxieties, a mental decompression that prepared them for rest. The predictability of the storytelling ritual itself, the familiar voice, the recurring phrases, the anticipated patterns, offered a comforting anchor in a world often unpredictable. This ritual created a shared space of intimacy and trust, a foundational element for societal well-being. Crucially, the very structure of these ancient sleep tales was meticulously crafted to induce slumber. We delve into precisely how the rhythmic and repetitive nature of these narratives fostered a sense of security and ease. Unlike daytime epics that might build too dramatic climaxes, many sleep stories subtly emphasized cadence over plot, repetition over novelty. Think of the gentle, repetitive sounds in nature, the steady patter of rain, the rhythmic lapping of waves, the consistent hum of insects. Ancient storytellers intuitively mimicked these natural rhythms in their narratives. They employed repetitive phrases, cyclical structures, and predictable narrative loops that created a hypnotic, almost meditative effect. The language itself was often soft, lyrical, and flowing, avoiding sharp consonants or jarring plot twists. Characters might embark on long, uneventful journeys or perform repetitive, calming tasks within the story. This rhythmic quality, combined with a comforting vocal tone, gently quieted the analytical mind, bypassing conscious resistance to sleep and allowing the listener to surrender to the tale's flow. The predictability offered security, allowing the nervous system to disengage from vigilance and embrace a state of deep relaxation, preparing the body and mind for the seamless transition into slumber. To truly grasp the enduring power of these nighttime narratives, we must now showcase examples of some of the world's oldest sleep stories, meticulously tracing their origins and exploring their unique characteristics. Our journey takes us first to the Fertile Crescent of Mesopotamia. While not strictly bedtime stories in their entirety, the Epic of Gilgamesh contains passages and themes that would undoubtedly have been adapted for nocturnal recitation. This ancient Sumerian epic poem, dating back over 4,000 years, tells the tale of King Gilgamesh's quest for immortality. Its themes of friendship, loss, adventure, and the search for meaning would have resonated deeply. For bedtime, certain passages focusing on Gilgamesh's long, arduous journeys, the descriptions of natural landscapes, or his eventual acceptance of mortality could have been recited in a calming, rhythmic manner, instilling a sense of cosmic order and the acceptance of life's cycles, gently lulling listeners to sleep. Its vastness allowed for endless adaptation. Next, we journey to the Indian subcontinent, where one of the longest epic poems ever written has influenced countless generations. The Mahabharata, a sprawling narrative dating back millennia, is a treasure trove of philosophical discourse, moral dilemmas, and captivating stories. While certainly not solely for bedtime, its innumerable sub-stories, allegories, and the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita within it would have been powerful tools for nighttime instruction and reflection. Stories emphasizing dharma, karma, and the cyclical nature of existence could have been narrated in a contemplative, rhythmic style to encourage introspection and peace before sleep. The gentle repetition of certain philosophical concepts, the long descriptive passages of landscapes or meditative states, and the eventual resolution of conflict in its many tales would have created a soothing yet profound auditory experience, preparing the mind for rest and moral contemplation. Finally, we turn to the cradle of Western literature with the Odyssey, Homer's epic poem, attributed to the 8th century BCE, recounts the arduous 10-year journey of the hero Odysseus as he attempts to return home after the Trojan War. This tale, filled with monstrous encounters, cunning escapes, and profound longing for home, might seem too adventurous for sleep. However, its episodic nature, the long, detailed descriptions of Odysseus's travels, the rhythmic, poetic meter, and the ultimate theme of homecoming and restoration would have been ideally suited for nightly recitation. Stories of Penelope faithfully waiting, of Telemachus's maturation, or the detailed accounts of Odysseus's encounters could have provided a reassuring framework of resilience and eventual peace. The repetitive epithets would have added to the hypnotic rhythm. As we showcase these examples, we meticulously discuss their themes and motifs, highlighting how they reflect the beliefs and values of their time. From Gilgamesh's wrestling with mortality to the Mahabharata's exploration of duty and righteousness, and the Odyssey's emphasis on cleverness and perseverance, these narratives were cultural mirrors. They conveyed their society's understanding of the divine, the human condition, moral imperatives, and the natural world. Moreover, we explain how these stories were adapted and reinterpreted over centuries. As they passed through oral tradition, they were not static texts, but living narratives, reshaped by generations of storytellers, tailored to specific audiences, or altered to fit changing cultural contexts. This adaptability ensured their longevity and their continued relevance as both entertainment and powerful tools for nightly contemplation and rest. The echoes of these ancient nocturnal narratives resonate profoundly in our present day, demonstrating that the tradition of sleep stories is far from forgotten. It continues to thrive in modern times, showcasing how they have evolved alongside technology and cultural shifts. While the setting may have moved from a flickering campfire to a sleek smartphone screen, the fundamental human need for a soothing narrative to ease the transition into sleep remains unchanged. Modern audio platforms now host countless sleep stories, sleep meditations, and bedtime tales for adults, which are direct descendants of these ancient practices. These contemporary versions often feature calming voices, ambient background sounds, and narratives designed specifically to be non-dramatic, repetitive, and deeply relaxing. They incorporate techniques intuitively used by ancient storytellers, now enhanced by modern sound engineering and understanding of sleep science. This evolution shows a remarkable adaptability, proving that the core function of sleep stories is timeless, even as their delivery methods change. Moreover, the utility of modern sleep stories extends beyond mere comfort. We delve into precisely how modern sleep stories are used for relaxation, mindfulness, and even therapeutic purposes. For many, these audio narratives serve as a powerful antidote to digital overstimulation, replacing scrolling with a purposeful wind-down routine. They help reduce anxiety by gently redirecting the mind away from worrisome thoughts. The focus on calming rhythmic language and serene imagery fosters a state of mindfulness, encouraging listeners to be present and to release the day's accumulated stress. In a therapeutic context, sleep stories are increasingly recommended by sleep specialists and therapists as a non-pharmacological aid for insomnia, helping individuals retrain their brains for better sleep without reliance on medication. They can also be used in cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia to establish healthier sleep habits. This therapeutic application highlights a deeper recognition of the mind-body connection that ancient cultures intuitively grasped, that a calm mind is essential for truly restorative rest. Ultimately, it is paramount to emphasize the importance of preserving and celebrating these stories as invaluable cultural treasures. Whether whispered from an ancient elder, meticulously transcribed into a sacred text, or delivered through a modern audio app, sleep stories are more than just tools for rest. They are repositories of human wisdom, creativity, and shared experience. They offer a direct link to our ancestral past, reminding us of the enduring power of narrative to soothe, teach, and connect across generations. Preserving these traditions, both ancient and modern, ensures that future generations can continue to benefit from this universal lullaby. Understanding that the need for comfort at the close of day is a fundamental part of the human condition. They teach us about our shared humanity, our universal need for narrative, and the gentle art of surrendering to the natural rhythm of rest. As our journey through the whispered history of sleep stories concludes, a profound realization settles upon us. The act of telling and listening to these narratives is a truly universal human experience, an inherent part of our collective consciousness. We conclude by reflecting on the universal appeal of sleep stories and their power to connect people across cultures and time. From the simple folk tales told in a secluded village to the complex mythological epics recited in ancient courts, these stories speak to a fundamental human need for order, meaning, and comfort as we transition from wakefulness to slumber. They transcend linguistic and geographical boundaries, proving that the need for a soothing narrative at the close of day is a common thread binding all humanity. The rhythmic cadence, the gentle repetition, the inherent promise of resolution or continuation, these elements resonate deep within our primal selves, creating a sense of shared experience across millennia. Sleep stories are the world's oldest lullabies, sung in countless tongues, yet universally understood by the sleepy heart. We fervently encourage viewers to embrace the magic of storytelling and explore the rich world of ancient sleep tales. Beyond the specific examples we've highlighted, countless cultures have their own unique traditions of nightly narratives, each offering a window into their worldview and a pathway to peace. Seek out traditional folklore from different cultures, listen to oral histories, or simply re-engage with classic fables and myths. Allow yourself to be transported by the power of words, to rediscover the simple joy of listening, and to experience the calming effect that narrative can have on your mind. This is not just about finding a better way to sleep. It's about reconnecting with a profound human tradition, fostering imagination, and enriching your inner world. Finally, we leave viewers with a sense of profound wonder and appreciation for the timeless power of stories. In an age of information overload and constant stimulation, the gentle art of storytelling reminds us of the profound impact of narrative, not just for entertainment, but for solace, for wisdom, and for connection. Stories guide us through life, help us understand the world, and, when told softly at the end of the day, They gently guide us into the realms of dreams. May the echoes of these ancient whispers fill your nights with peace and wonder, reminding you that even in sleep, you are connected to a long, beautiful, and universal human tale.